We're live. Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Call. This is my YouTube channel, and this is my comic, Age of Night. This is chapter 28, page 8. I started working on this last week during the art stream. We got all of the panels roughed in, and we got the first two finished, and the third one, like, a pretty good solid start. So we're going to continue on from there. Hey, Hungry, thanks so much for joining me. I think I didn't finish drawing Thel's face. I think it was giving me a hard time last time. I might have something to do with it. So we're going to jump back into it. Hope everyone is doing well and had a good weekend. It was a good weekend, but it was like very tiring too. I hatched my little chickies. Hey, Spud. So the eggs that I had in the incubator all hatched this weekend. Well, not all, but most of them, way more than I expected. So I had 31 eggs in the incubator, and I kept on meaning to candle them, and I never got around to it. I just always something else came up, and so I was ultimately just like, we'll see what happens. And ultimately, I had 26 of them hatched. 26 out of 31 eggs hatched. So I have 26 chicks in here right now. I don't know if my mic will be picking them up, but they're cheeping in the background. I had to leave the overhead light on in my studio, even though I hate overhead lights, because they yelled at me when I turned it off. They got very upset. They were like, "No, we want the light on. Cheep." And I was like, "Okay, geez. All right, I'll leave the light on." But the thing with when chicks are hatching is that, like, they'll hatch out. They don't all hatch at the same time. Like, they're supposed to take so it's the whole thing. They're supposed to take 21 days, and that's not like 100% precise either. It's roughly 21 days. But the thing is that eggs have this really cool ability where after they're laid, if they're just kept at like room temperature, like not too cold and not actually warm, they can just kind of like hold in this like kind of stasis for a while, for like a week or so. And then if you start keeping them warm at that point, they'll start to develop. But I think that that kind of hold time also does mean that a few of them will be, like, a tiny bit ahead of the other ones, and so I had gathered up eggs for about a week before I started them, and then I was like, "Okay, I've got plenty of eggs now, I'm gonna start them," and put them all in the incubator, and so then over the course of, like, 2.5 days, these 26 chicks would hatch, but the incubator is not, like, an ideal place for them to be, like, hanging out. And so as they would hatch, one or two every like couple of hours over the course of a couple of days, I had to keep on checking on them and being like, "Oh, another one hatched," and moving it from the incubator to the brooder. And so I did not get a lot of sleep this weekend because I kept on having to go out and check on my chickies and being like, "Oh, another chick hatched. I'm going to move them over to the brooder," or, "Oh, nothing hatched. Okay, I guess I'll go back to bed." But yeah, so it was a very tiring weekend, and by Sunday, when I was pretty sure they were done, I was just like, "Okay, I'm done. I am exhausted, and I feel kinda crappy because I did not get enough sleep this weekend." But I have so many babies. And they are so cute. And even though they're only a couple of days old, they've already grown. They've already gotten, like, twice as big as they were when they first hatched. It's pretty wild. So that was my exciting weekend. Hatching babies. Get a little background going on in here. Okay, hooray! Now that panel's done. I'm not, like, I'm still not like crazy over it, but it's better. Better than it was. Okay, moving on. We're gonna, oh, gross. What happened there? Go to use an eraser and it just leaves like a big nasty smear. Bleh. So I don't imagine anyone else spent their weekend hatching a whole bunch of baby chickens, but I hope everyone still had a good weekend and has had a good week since we were on stream last. Okay, doing like the arm grasp shake thing. I might have to look up a reference picture of how this works. So wait, if you're doing the arm grasp, you're like back of your hand would be on the outside, but if you're like on the underside, so I guess it would be her thumb because she's on the underside. He's on the outside. Okay, I think that makes sense. You worked on building a shed. Oh, that's cool. I love building projects. Did you get the shed done or is it still in progress? I gotta look at my script. What are they saying here? They're saying something. Okay. They're just like introducing themselves. That's what I thought, but I just wanted to be sure. It's a work in progress. Helping your dad with it. This idea of a plan is to nail a few boards, step back, think an hour, and then resume. That sounds familiar. That sounds like pretty much every project that my father-in-law undertakes. I've gotten to the point that I just don't ask for his help anymore. I'm just like, if I get stuck, I'll just ask him where he's like keeping a particular tool. What? I am streaming. I'm streaming right now, sir. Someone is asking me, I thought you were streaming. And I'm like, I am. There we go. Okay. He figured it out. All right. I want her to have already taken off her helmet here. She got down off her horse. So that'll have to be like tucked under her other arm, probably, which you may not even see. We'll have it in front. She'll be holding it in front of her because the other word balloon's going to go like right here. So her high horse, yes, she got off her high horse. It's like an average sized horse, not a super high horse. The opposite issue. I fail to ever start a project because excessively overthink everything so much. Yeah, I don't really like overthink the project. I usually just have so much going on that it's like hard to get going on a particular project that I know is going to be like disruptive to all the other many things I need to do. Um But then I sometimes don't plan enough. I do sometimes run into, like, "Oh, I thought I had a plan, but it turns out that plan was bad and wrong." 'Cause I'm very much always, like, just DIYing stuff of, like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I have a vague idea. I looked at some YouTube videos. I read some comments online. I'm gonna go from there. Alright, if her hand is here holding her helmet, then her arm should be, like, there. That's fine. Okay, looks good. And I have to why do I do to myself? I have to draw horses. Why do I make myself draw horses? I'm not good at this. Oh, that's strange. Didn't show up as live on his app. That's weird. I don't know what to tell you about YouTube being strange. I wonder if there's, like, a setting somewhere that I have failed to click over appropriately. How are you doing, Story Comic? I'm sorry I didn't answer the phone earlier. I was getting ready to stream. Okay, sharpened our pencil. We're gonna firm up some of these details on here. I do have so many, like, half done home improvement DIY projects around the house because a lot of times it's like not having a lot of time to, like, work on stuff, and then when I do, it's not enough time to fully finish, and so it's like, "Ah, I got it to the point where it is serviceable even though it's not 100% done." So it's gonna stay in this state for a long time. Like, I still need to do the trim work in my bathroom. It's just a bathroom entirely without trim. It's fine. That's fine. Because everything in it functions. It's just got some, like, ugly little joints between the walls and the ceiling and floor. 'Cause I just haven't done it. It's fiddly, it takes a while, and that's, like, a lot of stuff around my house. It's like everything works, but not everything is attractive or 100% done. Very manly arm grab situation. Many years ago at MegaCon, I went to MegaCon with my, a few of my friends from Savannah, and my, friend Renee Lott was very excited to meet Kevin Sorbo because, she was a big fan of Hercules, and this was also many years ago, so this was, like, before we all knew that Kevin Sorbo was kind of the worst. Um, but she was very excited to meet him, and she did a photo op with him, and when she went to do the photo op, he was like, "Shall we do the Spartacus?" And she's like, "The what?" And apparently that's what he calls the arm grab handshake, the Spartacus. And she came back to our table and she was so excited. She's like, "I did the Spartacus with Kevin Sorbo." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I haven't heard from Renee in a very long time. I don't know. She's one of these people that was just like at a certain point was just like, I'm not doing social media anymore. Goodbye. And then I had her phone number for a while, but then I think she must have like changed phones because I haven't heard from her in a very long time. I hope she's okay. Hope life has been treating her well. I will also admit that I was just at a sink without cold water for 10 years before you fixed it. Oh, oh my. What I've done so much plumbing, and I'm just really curious, like, where the problem was. Like, was there not a cold line run to it? Or, like, did you have to, like, run a cold line to it? Or was it just, like, not connected and you just didn't connect it? Which I'm not judging. I've definitely done stuff like that. Like, yes, I know the fix is right there. I'm still not doing it. Hey, you made an art stream. Hey, Higgins, thanks so much for joining us. I'm looking at my notes of what this armor looks like because I haven't drawn it in a long time. Do 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 do. Okay, we've got this kind of piece. I'm not sure what that's supposed to look like. Does that have like a does that does that have like a rim or anything to it? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. So just have a sketch, but I did actually draw somebody wearing this, I think. I think I drew one of the officers wearing this earlier. Trying to make it look like, yes, he's actually grabbing the loose fabric around her sleeve without making it look like he's trying to like yank her arm off. Like Hercules and Andromeda. I found out recently that Sorbo has some interesting views on things. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think a lot of times with like a lot of celebrity type people, it's just like, dude, what do you even know about real life anymore? Like you've lived in Hollywood for like 40 years. You're so disconnected from the real world at this point. Okay. Just gotta have like a sidearm sword situation over here, which I did not sketch in, so I gotta add it in now. Sword situation is a short sword. Okay. It's very sketchy at this point. That's okay. Helmet taken off and being held there. I understand all us fantasy nerds like to be like, oh, why isn't anybody wearing a helmet? Because we need to see their faces so they can, the characters' faces, so they can, like, you know, emote and stuff. Someone saying says, I'm fine with people believing whatever they want so long as what they believe doesn't harm others or themselves somehow. Yeah, that's a pretty good, like, pretty good basic rule of thumb, I think. Like, live in whatever universe you like as long as it's not hurting someone else. Okay. This has got like a seam down the side here. Clean up her face. The chicks have finally started to settle down. Hopefully that means they're not going to scream at me when I turn off the light. All right. Back over here to Thel. I just kind of like got sucked up from their arm to completely drawing the rest of that character. Like, oh, that's right. I haven't come over here and finished drawing Fel yet. I should do that. Got the backpack. Everybody's always got so much stuff on them. Also, just kind of like a fun comparison with Fel next to a character that's actually like powerfully built. Of just like, oh, hey, that's right. He's like really skinny. Seen some interesting styles applied to masked figures to allow for emotion to be understood. It can be overly cartoony though. Yeah, sometimes like some of it works pretty well and some of it is just like that's silly. That's not how that would work. Like when Spider-Man's mask, the eyes will like totally change shape. It's like the fabric moves with his emotions. I don't think that's how that works, but okay. I get that we're engaging in a certain amount of artifice here. That's okay. Okay. Oh, that means I have to draw the horse now. Oh, geez. Okay. I pulled up a reference image. Where's my reference image? Horse. Open image in new tab so that I can move it to the monitor that I'm actually like facing instead of the one that's practically behind me. Yep, that's a horse, all right. Ugh, goodness. Okay. My little scribble here is definitely not actually a horse. It's a suggestion of something horse-like. You got such big, goofy heads. Now it's like, I don't, no, I think I made it a little too big. They do have big, goofy heads, but that's a very large, goofy, horsey head. Let's try that again. This is quality entertainment here. Watch Amanda struggle to draw a horse. All right. Let's get this box head. Spider-Man has lenses in his mask. I mean, yeah, that was later. The whole like that was a later thing. I don't think that was an original thing, which is fine. It's fine. There were definitely artists drawing him that way before there was any explanation as to how that could be possible. Horse, it's big, goofy head. Okay, that's looking slightly more like an actual horse. What is happening there? Then you get all this stuff with the tack. It gets very confusing. Draw the character in my avatar image that wears a box on his head. He shifts in the shadowing to imply expressions. Ah, I like that. That's a good idea. Okay, here's the basic shape of a bridle. Reins. Okay. Something vaguely horse-like enough that I'm feeling good about going with it. Oh, horsey nose. Horsey just wants to be involved. All right. You know what? This horse on the reference image has a cute little blaze down its face and a little white nose. We're gonna give this horsey a little blaze and a little white nose too. I think that's cute. We're gonna go with that. The captain's horse has a little blaze. All right. Background, shrubberies. It's already 8:30. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll see how far we get this evening. I may have to finish the drawing of this off stream. And then like upload a reel or something. I don't know. One of those internet things. One of those things you do with videos on the internet. What are they on YouTube? Shorts? I don't know. I can't keep up. Phil, what is going on with your face, my dude? What is that? What did I just draw there? I don't even know. Let's try that again. Vague outline of where a beard is going to be. Just kind of feeling out where some of this stuff is going to be before I go in and try to commit any of it. Swords. Okay. Hooray. It's mostly there. I need to sharpen my pencil again. All right. So what else is going on right now? We've got, today is the 4th of April. My con season is going to be starting in earnest here pretty soon. I've got the main comic and toy con coming up at the end of the month. The last weekend in April. It's like the 28th, 29th, and 30th, I think. Something like that. And that's in Portland, Maine. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited for that. Last weekend, I also applied to a bunch of different shows. So I put in my application for Mice, which is the Massachusetts Independent Comic Expo. That one's in Cambridge in the fall. I put in for the SPX lottery. Am I going to make it into the SPX lottery? Almost certainly not, because I'm just not lucky enough to get in the SPX lottery. It's been a few years since I've put in for the lottery, but we'll see what happens. I figured I may as well. Then I also applied for like a local art festival in Bangor, but we'll see, because that one's so Mice is juried and the local art festival is juried, and I don't know. I just don't have a lot of confidence in my ability to get into juried shows, and I understand that that's, me being kind of silly, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know if I'll get into like the local art one, because it's like, yes, but you're doing comic art. You're not doing like pottery and paintings of the coast, that sort of thing. I don't know. Maybe I don't know who makes the decisions for that. And I don't know like what they're like, what they tend to lean towards, but I just don't have a lot of faith. I was feeling very imposter syndrome-y when I was filling out all of these applications. But we'll see what happens. Comic art is art to me. Well, I appreciate that. I think so too, but I understand that not everybody gets it, and the kind of thing that you run into when you're dealing with like people who are used to regular like fine arts or like arts and crafts type arts is that they don't necessarily get it. They're just like, what is this? Cartoons? What is that? That's not really like art. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I could be surprised. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure who runs this, like who does the selecting for this. So a few years ago, I had a couple of different gallery showings that I had work involved in, and one of them was like a really like a small little art thing that was a small little comic art gallery display, and that was okay. It was a little on the small side. It was a little bit like um it certainly wasn't like, it didn't have much of a focus. But I met some cool people there. I really like some really cool people that I enjoyed spending time with. There was another one that was like, it was very much a fine art gallery, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do a comic art show," but they didn't seem to understand that like comic art is like, comics are a medium. They're not like, they can be a lot of different things, and so that show, while there was a lot of really interesting stuff in that one, and again, I met some really awesome people, um, and had a great time at that, uh, but yeah, the actual show itself just did not make a lot of sense, and it was arranged in such a way too, where it was like, clearly nobody had any clue what was going on here. They were just like, "Ah, yes, comics." It's like, "These don't make sense together. What are you doing?" Because 'Cause you'd have like, yes, a drawing of Superman, and which isn't even a comic, it was just a drawing of Superman. And then, like, some very artsy, multi like, 4-panel thing, and then, like, my fantasy comics, and just totally disjointed, not any kind of focus on it. But the best one I went to was one in Portland, like the best one that I was involved with, and the lady who curated that one, oh my gosh, she did amazing because, like, yeah, it was a bunch of different comics with, a bunch of different, different genres, different influences and everything, but she did a great job of, like, organizing them in such a way that it was like, okay, there's, like, themes going on here, like, you had different movements of art together, like, you had a lot of the underground comic style stuff all grouped together, and a lot of the more artsy stuff grouped together, and a lot of commercial stuff grouped together, and, like, editorials grouped together, and, like, it was like it made sense. It was actually put together in a way that made some kinda sense, and that one had a bunch of, like, really cool process work and, like, historical information and stuff, and that one was great. She did an excellent job putting that one together. I was very happy to be a part of that one. I can't remember the name of the exhibit off the top of my head. It was, like, in 2019, like, summer of 2019. So that's it just kind of falls into, like, a blur of that time right before everything went really wonky. Let's see, it says they should be reminded that not everyone got Van Gogh either. That's true. And once people like Roy Lichtenstein started lifting from comics, I think it's too late for artists to gatekeep anymore. Right. Yeah. I don't even necessarily think it's like intentional gatekeeping. I think they just don't like have the I think maybe sometimes a lot of these people just don't like that are in the more immersed in the gallery type world or like art show type world is that they just don't understand what they're looking at with comics. Like they don't have the language and the like the literacy in it. They're not fluent in comics as an art form. And so they don't know what they're looking at. And that means that they should, get if they don't get the education themselves, then they should, hire consultants, hire people to help them figure out what they're looking at and what is good and what is significant and that sort of thing. But, you know, I think it's just that they don't yeah, they're looking at yeah, they're just looking at the figures, not the page, not the way it all works together, like a bunch of stuff that they're just not understanding about it. Because that's just not their background, and you can't not everybody is gonna get everything, and that's okay, but that's why it behooves you to, have people at your disposal to help you understand these things that you're not as well versed in. Alright, gotta get this character put in here. when crawling out of a ditch, like you do. All right. We've got a tree up here. Okay, I feel like I need to sharpen my pencil again. It feels like it's getting dull. For these tiny, tiny figures back here. It's not sharpened enough. We need a little more. That's better. Trying not to mess up this tiny figure. Focusing so hard. Okay. Almost there. Okay. Kamaria back here. All right. What time is it? It's 8:49. So we're just about done. Just about done for this evening. So in the last 10ish minutes here, we're gonna do the YouTube things like you do. So reminder, I'm Amanda Call. This is my comic, Age of Night. I've been working on this during the stream. If you want to read some Age of Night that's actually like done already, you can do so at ageofnight.com. It's AGEOFNIGHT.com. Updates every Wednesday. And you can read the whole thing online for free. But if you would like to help support me making comics, then you can do that by going to Patreon, patreon.com/ageofnight. You can also buy copies of Age of Night in various forms. You can buy physical copies of it on Amazon. You can buy like ebook versions there as well. You can also buy ebook versions on Skirmisher's website, skirmisher.com, as well as the One Bookshelf family of websites. So that's Drive-Through RPG, Drive-Through Fiction, and Drive-Through Comics. It's available on all of those through my digital publishing partner, Skirmisher Publishing. And yeah, what's also really cool is that recently I did a game scenario adaptation for Age of Night through Skirmisher as well. So that's something else you can check out. I did a Temple of the Banished Sun scenario for TSRPG, the travel-sized role-playing game, which is available on Drive-Through RPG. And I think it's pretty fun. There's also like a video of us playing it, which was pretty great. It was really cool getting to see people like play my characters. So weird. Like awesome, but weird. Okay, we've got big old rocks here. We'll do a bunch of shrubs back here too. Shrubs. Okay, what else? So if you like watching me do these work on comics on YouTube, you should definitely subscribe to this channel, like the video and all of that fun stuff like you do on YouTube. If you subscribe, then hopefully YouTube will let you know when I go live. I mean, it has a mind of its own, so there's that. Yay, look at that. That's a nice little panel right there. We'll start this one while I finish up the stuff. So these art streams I do just about every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, but also subscribing is a good way to find out if for some reason I'm running late or I don't get to do one because of whatever, or I have to reschedule to a different time because of like life or what have you. That's a good way to know about all that. You can also follow me on various social medias. I'm going to be either Age of Night or Amanda Call Art on pretty much all of them. All the ones that I'm active on, which is currently Twitter for however long that lasts, Instagram, and TikTok, and of course here. I wouldn't say I'm like active on TikTok. I haven't actually done anything on there in a while. But I exist on that platform. Occasionally I'll upload like a video of me, a time lapse of me like drawing something, but that's about it. Look at this sassy face. Oh, sassy. And yeah, I will be at Maine Comic and Toy Con at the end of the month. I think that's all the stuff I have to tell you about. I'm sure I'm probably forgetting something. We're going to finish this little sassy Drake face, and then that'll be it for this evening. All right. Yay. Yay, it's Drake. Yay, looking so sassy. All right. All the stuffing's my favorite during the holidays. I make these little, like, stuffing balls. So you, like, take regular stuffing and you prepare it like normal as if you were gonna cook it in a dish or in the bird, and then you form it into, like, little meatballs, and then you put them in on a toothpick, and you cover them in olive oil, like, you just, like, brush them with olive oil, and then you bake them in the oven, and they're so good. They're a great little hors d'oeuvre. So delicious. Anyway, that's my free cooking tip. Enjoy that. All right. That'll do it for this evening. We started with 2.5 panels penciled. We completed 3 more entire panels. That's pretty great, and finished that other half. I only have 1 panel left, so I'll probably finish drawing this off stream, and then next time we will pick up with some inking. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me this evening. I will see you next time. Bye.